Hey, welcome. It feels like the world is always shouting at us, right? Go bigger, climb higher, be number one. But today, we're going to slow down a bit and dig into a quieter, but I think a much more profound idea. It's all about finding our value, not just at the top of some imaginary mountain, but right where we are. So, yeah, let's dive into this simple but really powerful piece of wisdom. You know that feeling, don't you? The pressure to have the most visible, the most celebrated, the most successful role. It's like society has this one picture of success, and it's this giant, majestic pine tree standing all alone on a hill, the one everyone can see for miles. But here's the thing. What if that's not the only way to matter? What if trying to be a pine tree isn't even who we're meant to be? Yeah, society really does have a pretty narrow definition of success, doesn't it? It's always about being the CEO, the star quarterback, the person in the spotlight. And what that does is it creates this, I don't know, this ladder of worth, where if you're not at the very top, it can feel like you're failing. But there's this simple little poem that offers a really powerful antidote to that whole way of thinking. And boom, with just 2 lines, the poem completely flips the script on us. Notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say, well, just try harder to be a pine tree. No, it offers a totally different path. It's basically saying, hey, if you can't be a pine, that's okay. Be a scrub instead. It's this beautiful alternative, a whole other definition of success that's just as valid, just as important. So this is the core idea right here, this contrast. You've got the pine, which is all about being tall and being seen. But the scrub? It's not presented as some kind of failed pine tree. No way. It has its own perfect place, down in the valley right by the stream where all the life is. And the poem tells us to be the best scrub you can be. The goal isn't to wish you were up on the hill, it's to thrive, to be excellent right where you're planted. And you know what? This idea, it's not just about trees. The poem is so smart because it expands this metaphor, showing us how this principle works everywhere in nature, and, by extension, in our lives too. So it takes us from the forest and drops us right into the lake. Okay, I absolutely love this line. For anyone who doesn't know, a muskie is this huge, legendary trophy fish. A bass? Well, a bass is a lot more common. But look at what the poem focuses on. It's not about size, it's about vitality. Be the liveliest fish in the lake. So the key takeaway here isn't about being the biggest fish in the pond. It's about being the most full of life, the most energetic, the most, lively. It's just this brilliant shift from worrying about quantity to focusing on quality. And the poem just keeps going, stacking up these incredible comparisons. Think about it. A highway carries tons of traffic, right? But a trail takes you to those quiet, beautiful places you never see otherwise. The sun totally dominates the daytime sky, but a star shines when it's dark. And a captain might be in charge of the ship, but that ship isn't going anywhere without the crew. Every single one of these has its own absolutely irreplaceable job to do. This sun and star comparison it's really powerful. The sun is this one single, overwhelmingly bright thing. It defines the day. But a star, which might seem tiny in comparison, isn't alone. It's part of a constellation, right? It adds its own light to create this much bigger, beautiful picture in the night sky. And that just shows that value isn't always about being the biggest and the brightest on your own. Sometimes it's about being a vital part of something bigger. And we need both kinds of light, don't we? They're both absolutely essential.
And then we get to it. This is the heart of the whole poem, the line that ties everything together. This is the thesis statement right here. It just completely reframes how we're supposed to think about success, winning or failing. It's not about your size, it's not about your job title, it's about your commitment to being the absolute best version of you, whatever it is you are.
So let's break that down. What does it actually mean to be the best, according to this poem? It's got nothing to do with beating the person next to you. It's an internal standard. It's about showing up with all your energy, all your passion, and aiming for excellence in whatever your role is. It's about being that liveliest bass, that best scrub, that crew member everyone can count on. So when you step back and look at the whole thing, the poem paints this amazing picture of a world where every single piece matters. I find that so reassuring, And it's incredibly empowering. It's telling us that the whole ecosystem of our world, our society, it needs the pines and the scrubs. It needs the big roles and the small ones, the visible ones and the humble ones, to really work. And this is just the perfect human example to drive the point home. A ship, it's a super complex system. Yeah, the captain is crucial for sure, but that ship is dead in the water without a crew doing their jobs and doing them well. So it's not really a ladder of importance, is it? It's more like a partnership, where everyone has a different but equally essential job to do. There really is something for all of us here. So if we were to boil it all down, what's the practical wisdom we can take away from this? It's really a pretty simple three-step philosophy for life. Step 1, just acknowledge your role. See it, accept it, own where you are right now. Step 2, forget about comparison. Seriously, just stop measuring your size or your status against everybody else. And step 3, excel with vitality. Pour all of that energy into being the absolute best, most alive version of yourself, right in that spot.
And really, that's the question I want to leave you with today. Where is your lake? What's your environment, your job, your community, your family? And inside that space, what would it look like for you to stop worrying about being the biggest fish and just start focusing on being the liveliest, most engaged, most excellent bass you can possibly be? Now that's a thought worth exploring.